Hey, Shalom. Want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the Akim that are out here pushing this word in truth and sincerity. This is Amathia from the GMS Dallas camp. Wanted to go into a quick lesson. Lord willing, the video will be edifying. I just wanted to go into this lesson in regards to women, you Jakes, which are you so-called black, Latinos, and Native Americans. So you women of Israel, you have basically took hold and been cleaving on to the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man, who is Esau Edom. And what has happened is you have you have assisted him in pushing the men of Israel and help bring them low. Now, true enough, we have been going off and doing wickedness throughout. That's why the Lord has put us in subjection. But overall, you women have took hold to this devil and help bring our culture, not black culture, but our culture in Israel, which is like you say, you so-called black, Latinos, and Native Americans, and brought us low. Now, one thing is basically this government assistance. You took this government assistance, and what did Esau say? You have to push the man out to actually receive a lot of this assistance. Now you see, as this partial government shutdown, if it keeps going, you're gonna see that this is gonna be an effect on you, the ones that are receiving this, like I said, this government assistance. Now we know overall, Esau is getting the bulk of this government assistance, but when you look at like percentage wise, you see Jake receives a lot of it. All right. And I want to go into this article here, and then, Lord willing, we'll jump into the scriptures. This is an article here by CBS News saying millions could face severe cut to food stamps due to government shutdown. All right. And I'm going to read it here. It says, the partial government shutdown glided into its third week Saturday with no end in sight. If the government is not reopened before February, millions of Americans who receive benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, the nation's food stamp program, could have their assistance disrupted. All right. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees SNAP at the federal level, is one of the agencies unfunded during the partial government shutdown. Although SNAP is automatically renewed, it has not been allocated funding from Congress beyond January. Congress has appropriated $3 billion in emergency funds for SNAP distribution, but that would not cover all of February obligations. All right, so we see that this is going to affect you, the people that are on food stamp. Now, this is going to cause an uproar in the streets if the government stays shut down. All right, you're going to go one day and try to utilize your food stamp, and you're not going to be able to receive it. All right, I'm going to read a little more of this because it's long. You can go through it and read it yourself. But I'm going to start and read another paragraph here. It says, in September 2018, the last month for which data is available, 4.7 billion in SNAP benefits were dispersed throughout every state. If the shutdown continues through March, there will be no remaining funding for SNAP, endangering food security for millions of Americans. All right. One more paragraph. It says, according to the Nonpartisan Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, 42 million Americans received SNAP benefits in 2017. More than 28% of participants were in families with children, and more than 44% were in working families. All right, so that's, like I said, this is going to affect a lot of you Americans, a lot of you so-called Americans, because like you say, this is just a name that they put upon us. A lot. It's gonna affect a lot, and also, like I say, it's gonna cause an uproar, especially throughout Israel, because your women have been the right hand man to Esau. Esau utilizes uh, you Israelite women to help bring down the man. And you bring down the man in Israel, you bring down the whole nation. All right, and that's one thing that you learn the rules of war. Israel did it as well. When you went in siege or took over a nation of people, one thing you do is you get rid of the man. All right, you get rid of that seed. When you get rid of that seed, they can't procreate, and you basically the nation will die off, or those group of people. Because, like you say, there's no end to the to a people, you know. But I just wanted to go into the scriptures here. And one thing I wanted to actually go into is the actual account where it's going into Esau. Going into the serpent and how he beguiled Eve. Now, you do have accounts where you had Eve, you had King David, through a woman, he actually sinned. King Solomon, all right. Job, his woman told him to uh, curse, the Most High and die. And he, basically she just spoke foolish words. So it's Samson. It's many occasions throughout our history. It shows how the woman has utilized. Because, like I say, that the woman, that's our real. That's our counterpart. That's our. The woman is the one that actually is who we cleave home to. All right. And like I said, when you get someone that is your other half to go off, you are subject. That's the closest thing to you. You're subject to go off yourself. So I just want to get into the scripture. Don't want to keep babbling. I want to start here at Genesis. I'm gonna start at 3:1. It says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Most High Power had made, which is Yahweh. And he said unto the woman, Yea, has Yahweh said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. Now, this is something that we look into, and they said that, like, say, you not surely die. Now, this is basically she's being deceived, And as we know, the fruit is the philosophies of, like, say, of the serpent, or like I say, the serpent. The serpent was not an actual snake, as we know here in Israel. You can receive it. All right. And it says, and we're going to go back into that. It says, For Yahweh do know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat. So she went and got and started getting those philosophies, and started, like I say, whoring after other doctrine, basically. And gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. All right. Now I want to go back to where it says Genesis 3:4, where it said, The serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. All right. So that's basically is in the scripture where, as she got deceived, she actually this was the turning point basically for men on earth, basically the chosen seed to basically be put in subjection to start, like I say, for one thing, start dying. And it didn't start through the man. It started through the woman. All right? And I want to get the scripture here. This is Ecclesiastes 25 and 24. It says, "Of the woman came the beginning of sin." All right, and that's what that word the beginning at right there in Ecclesiastes. Salaki. That's what happened in Genesis 3. It says, "Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die." All right, so that's letting you know that the woman sinned, and what you can go to account to let you know that the woman was deceived and not Adam. We can go into First Timothy. All right. First Timothy 2 and 14. It says, "And Adam was not deceived." You know what? Let's start up a little higher. And and matter of fact, let's go to 12, because one thing about it, you have some women that want to try to teach the word, but the Lord, like I say, the Lord didn't set up women to teach. Now this is First Timothy 2 and starting at 12. It said, "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over the man." All right, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. Verse 14. "And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression." All right, so it was Adam, like I say, he wasn't deceived, so he didn't go off and do the first sin. The actual woman did. But through her, we all die. And also, for, like I say, Adam, he went off, so we have to go through and till the ground. Till the field. So we have to work to, throughout our lives. You know, we have to work through our lives, and that is, that's something that you have these women of Israel that they have this mindset. We're saying, "Oh, uh, Adam actually was sinning too." No, he was not. All right. And this going into verse 12 where it says, "But I serve not for woman to teach, nor observe authority over the man, but to be in silence." Now, that authority over a man, as we see, as the earth has been given to so-called Esau Edom, it's been the, for we going off, it was the kingdom or the land was transferred over to Edom, to Esau, as we know his blessing, back in Genesis, I believe that's Genesis 27. And now, the earth was given to the hands of the wicked, Job 9 and 24. We know that, everything has been turned upside down. So we know that as the woman should be not have authority over the man, these days the woman has authority over the man. Because uh, this whole world is backwards, because it is ran by a unlawful man, an unlawful devil, you know. As Esau, he's a deceiver. He's a devil. All right. Now let's go into Jeremiah. Jeremiah 31 and 22. And it says, "How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord has created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." And that's what has happened these days. A woman has compassed a man. So the woman compassed the man. She, like you say, dealings with Esau, who is so-called self-proclaimed white man, the devil. He has worked with her, is basically giving her government assistance, and like I said, that government assistance, you have to actually get the man out the house to actually get a lot of this assistance. All right. So when you get the man out the house, what do that happens with the children? They don't have no man, so they get a lot of their understanding of being a man through a woman, which that is basically one thing is not right. It throws the imbalance, because the Lord is the just balance, and it throws the balance off on the children. And what happens to that? You have these women that go with the children, and the children become unstable. That's what you see today. This generation, I believe this generation Z we're in now. They're all drugged up. They're emotionally destroyed. They let their emotions go about them. No man don't have to supposed to let their emotions drive them. But we see that in this generation that the emotions drive these young men, and that's what we don't supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see, because you got one thing, push the man out the house. All right. And what they're doing, when a woman raising a child into a man by himself, it brings forth confusion and it brings forth destruction upon the nation. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that as well. Um, Second Esdras 5:8. It says, "There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall often sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and minstrous women shall bring forth monsters." Let me see if I read that correctly. "There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and minstrous women shall bring forth monsters." All right. And how is she bringing forth those monsters? By basically going through Esau's system, going through this government assistance, getting the man out the house, raising these men, these little boys into men without father guidance. And a lot of these fathers are simps anyway. All right. One thing about it, these women, then they get they all jacked up. They go around dealing with other men, just just going off, you know. And like I say, once this government assistance is shut down, a lot of them are gonna become subjected to being ravaged. All right, but I mean, just look at it now. They don't mind being ravaged at this point. They go around and deal with so many different men, and when a woman messes with a man, that a part of that man is with that woman at that point. So when you deal with multiple men, that's why you see all these crazy Jake women going around acting up, because they got so many emotional issues. That's why all of them on depression medication, all these different type of medications, anxiety, different things. All right, and we know of that. And I'm gonna get one more, and I'll get ready to close it out here. But we know through this government assistance that being, if it's cut off these women from this government assistance, you're gonna see a lot of Mm. You're gonna see a lot of riots, a lot of commotion going on, and Lord willing, we looking to see that as men of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, the righteous men are ready for that this day to happen. Jacob's trouble. We know it's not gonna be easy, but we know through that covering, we're gonna have that safety net. All right. Uh, and this is Ecclesiastes 26:12. It says, "She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he has found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. And every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow." Now that's what it's like to say what it's going into. She's going and she's going to drink from every fountain. So she's messing with so many different rods of men that she's like I say she's going through whoredom. She's a whore, and a woman like I say now this saying. I know when I was in school, they started saying, "Oh, I'm a whore. If I'm a hoe, I'm a good one." That is not a good thing to say. That is not the way to go. And it says, like it says, but every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. That means she opening her legs. All right, and every arrow she letting rods go into her one after another. You know what I'm saying? And that is not for a woman and a man. A man looks for a woman that's clean. You know, that's why back in like I say, the ancient times, you look for undefiled women, a woman that a man has not went into. But you cannot find that these days, especially if you're should just be real. If you 16 or older, you it's gonna be hard to find that. All right. But the men of the Lord, we are pushing. We're trying to, like I say, we know these days are coming. Lord willing, we're about to see something in 2019, which, through the Spirit, this is the year of Charakma. So we're going to, through the Spirit, we saw a lot of things last year. In 2018, we saw, like I said, the year of prophecy just passed, and we saw a lot of prophecies that came about and actually was coming into fruition. Now, before I end, I want to go off and do one more here. Because, like I said, we supposed to be putting uh, everything, like I say, that whole armor. Because the thing is, we're about to see things happening in these streets. That's basically going to get to a point, things that have never been seen before. All right, this is Ephesians 6 and 11. It reads, put on the whole armor of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. All right. So that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to put on the whole armor. All right. And I wanted to go into that here. Like I say, put on that whole armor. I was locking. Because one thing about it, Salakia, 6 and 11. That whole armor, we're going to, we have to keep on the whole armor. How you put on that whole armor, you have to go about it every day, read, study, pray, you know what I'm saying? Also, you have to be amongst the body. You just go and don't be amongst the body all the time. You will, you will see a lot of the devil. I mean, it's hard to battle alone through this thing. All right, it's very hard to battle through this. And I wanted to go and get the what it says, the wiles. If I'm pronouncing it correctly. And like you say, you're supposed to the wiles of the devil, which mean cunning arts, deceit, craft, tricky. All right, and this is strong G 3180, 3180. So 3180. And once again, it says cunning art, deceit, crafty, trickery. And that's, like I say, that's Esau. I'm going to read this one more time and I'll get out of here. It says, Ephesians 6 and 11, put on the whole armor of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. All right? This is a spiritual thing that we're going through. This is a spiritual thing that's happening. You have to keep your eyes single, because if you keep your eyes single, you can go ahead and you can see what's ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Because that keeping the eyes single means you're going to be going through that straight gate. And one more verse here. It says, "For we wrestle not against," this is Ephesians 6 and 12. "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." All right, because the world was given to the hands of the wicked, against spiritual wickedness in high places. All right. So we got these elites, and like you say, they're pushing their wickedness on the left hand side, and we supposed to be pushing and getting stronger on the right hand side. And Lord willing, this was edifying. We'd like to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to the Apostles' Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the Akims that are doing the videos out here on highways and byways pushing this word. Shalom.